We have a special guest today, Brad J. He was once again one of the announcers for the X Games in Ventura over the weekend. We're so excited to have him, and it's fun for locals to hear his voice because they know it from K-Tide 99.9 in Santa Barbara. Now, he's announced the X Games since the beginning. You were saying 22 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time. The first time, I think it was 1999, Tony Hawk did the 900. So that was my first X Games. I've been there ever since then. I've done 18, I think, Winter X Games and 4 Asian X Games. So.
That's incredible. All right, we're going to dig right into this weekend. Let's go. It was in Ventura. You were excited to have it sort of near your home base. Tell us what were some of the highlights? Thousands of people were coming in there this weekend.
I don't think we expected that to happen, but Saturday sold completely out. And I look back and I can't even remember years, even in Los Angeles, that we ever sold out. I don't even remember that happening before. But we sold out, and not only that, we sold out of merchandise as well. So it was absolutely crazy. Ventura showed up, a sea of people everywhere. It was so nice because we haven't had crowds for Summer X Games for a long time now, like 3 or 4 years.
Right, and it was just amazing. And we have to get, and the performances were incredible. I mean, there were so many tricks. I had to narrow it down. I started with Arissa True. She won the women's skateboard part vert victory. She's a young one. Can you tell us about this?
Arissa True, wow, she is really, the progression of women's skateboarding is completely ridiculous. That is a 540 right there. And a few years ago, you weren't seeing any of the girls doing 540s. But not only does she win here in Park, but the one thing is she also won in the vert competition too on the vert ramp by doing a 720, which is 2 full rotations. And no woman has ever done that. So it was never been done before. And Arissa True, she is true to this sport, and she is good.
For sure. And, you know, it's amazing to see how far these women and young women are progressing in the sport. These kids, these little groms, just doing all these amazing tricks. Okay, the next one that I thought was pretty spectacular, Tom Shar, he got vert best trick. Take a look at that.
So he's competing here on vert best trick, and they put this surfboard on top of the ramp here, and so he stalls on it, gets his truck, locks in on it, and then look, he's not touching his board at all, so he has to ollie back in. So here's another good look. It's like the board is attached to his feet, but Tom Shar, and I've known him since he was probably 3 foot tall. Now he's about 6'2". So watching him do what he does and continue to impress. And he's just a good person all around, great ambassador.
And it probably makes it fun for you because you know a lot of these guys. Okay, now BMX Kieran Riley, I wanted to show this video as well. I've never seen a bike spin like that before. I mean, how are they doing that without just completely falling down?
So Kieran, now Dave Mira, the legendary Dave Mira who passed away a few years back, this contest is in honor of him, and first place gets a golden pedal because he was the golden boy. But Kieran is doing, these are tail whips, what you're seeing them doing right here. And now they're doing 4. They're spinning a bike 4 times underneath. There's 3, there's 4, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he catches it and lands on it.
I'm just mesmerized when I see these people. They're just absolutely incredible athletes, and they deserve to be athletes. All right, before we go, Tony Hawk.
Oh, wow.
55, I think he is. 55 years old and still killing it on the ramp. Why did he decide to jump in?
Well, he's a little older now, so he's not the spring chicken of Tony Hawk of yesteryear. But, I mean, look, 55 years old, and that's what he's doing. And the funniest thing about this whole thing was I got the start list, and you look at the ages of all the riders, and you go through the ages, and then you see 55 as an age of somebody in a competition at X Games. But Tony Hawk he's the master of skateboarding. He is a legend. He's an ambassador. And he's a name like Shaun White in snowboarding.
Right.
Tony Hawk is to skateboarding.
He still brings so much to the sport and gets so many eyes on the sports. Before we go, just one last, memory for you and what you're looking forward to next year.
Oh, probably the biggest thing for me was the fact that we have not had the crowds, like I was saying. We have not had people at X Games for a while. And so to have these people come back to X Games and to look out and to see Ventura representing and be, Santa Barbara Ventura is my home. And to be able to see all these people as far as the eye can see after 3 or 4 years without crowds, it just, I mean, even now I can see the hair stands up.
You got some chills.
It does it for me because it's home. And my kids grew up with me doing X Games, and I see these young kids come up and all these athletes. I see them start as young and come up, and dominate and do their things. It's just
so great.
awesome to be a part of.
All right, Brad J., thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. We really appreciate all your insight.